Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Phillies Hot Seat Vidcast, and today we'll be recapping the Washington Nationals against the Los Angeles Dodgers. First of all, I'd like to apologize for the very delayed video, I'm finally getting it done. Guys, the Nationals finally have won their first playoff series in Washington, D.C., as they're going on to the NLCS to face the St. Louis Cardinals. So the Dodgers choke yet again. They're so bad. They really are. I mean, this is their series to win, and they really just blew it like the Braves did. Really, I mean, I really predicted the Braves and the Dodgers to move on, but it turns out that the opposite happened. I'm happy the Braves didn't advance, but I'm really unhappy that the Nationals did, of course, since I'm a Phillies fan. So the Nationals are going on to the NLCS to face the St. Louis Cardinals, and from the Dodgers' perspective, let's look at this. Terrible, absolutely terrible. You make the World Series the past 2 years, you blow it, and then you just got knocked out in the NLDS. You still bring back Dave Roberts, who it's just I just don't get it. I mean, look how many times they made the playoffs since I think like 2013, 2014, 2015, 16, 17, 18, now 19, and they haven't done anything. In 2 of those years, they went to the World Series, obviously in 17 and 18, but they didn't do anything. And the other years, like this year and 16 and 15 and 14 and 13, they all choked. So yeah, I just from the Dodgers' perspective, I mean that's just terrible. And as a guy who does not like the Nationals, who despises the Washington Nationals, which is me, it just really really I don't like the Dodgers, but it just is like you can't beat the Nationals. I'm sorry, I don't want to take shots at any of the Nationals, but like they're 93 and 69, and this team, the Dodgers, won over 100 games, and you can't even beat them. I mean, seriously. After you won 6-0 the first game, you can't even beat them. That's just unacceptable if you're looking at it from a Dodgers perspective, and it's just ridiculous. That can't happen. Right? That's unacceptable, in my opinion. Now, looking at it from the Nats perspective, you should be very happy. And the Nats fans are flying high. They're really happy right now. So I've been kind of keeping a low profile on Twitter and anything like that. I don't want to just bring up any ruckus with anybody because I know that they're in a good mood right now. So I'm not in the mood to discuss anything about anything. So I know if I say one thing in this video, I'm sure I'll get a whole bunch of spam comments. So I'm not gonna, I don't think it's necessary to say anything. I mean, so congratulations to the Washington Nationals. So it is kind of hard to say that a little bit because they are in our division and they're my least favorite team, and I hate them. So it really it's hard to say it, but congratulations. And I do mean it because it is quite an accomplishment to do it, especially after being 11 games under 500. So even if the Nationals, they're not going to win the World Series, but even if they do lose against the Cardinals, it's still going to be a successful season. But they still didn't win the World Series. Just as long as they don't win the World Series, I'll be okay. But I was hoping that they're going to choke yet again, and unfortunately they didn't. And another thing that kind of isn't fun for me is the fact that it's good for the Nationals, but looking at it from a Nationals perspective, you did it without Bryce Harper, and that's kind of an accomplishment. You used to face your franchise. You choke every year you have him, and then you finally lose him, and then you advance. So if you're Bryce Harper, that's really got to piss you off. It's really got to piss you off. I understand he has friends over there, but if I were him, I'd be pissed, man. Like I really would, especially the way some of the things gone the past year and things like that. I'd really not be happy. I really wouldn't. You decline all that money and then you go someplace for money and then for more money, a division rival, and then you have to sit on your couch and watch your former team with your former manager, with your former players, your former teammates, like celebrate. I mean, it's just gotta really sting for Bryce. I'm sure he's very unhappy. I'm sure he's probably rooting against them. I understand he still has friends on that team, but he's got to be disappointed. yeah, so that's how I feel about that aspect. So yeah, so the Nationals are moving on. They eliminate the Dodgers. First time they won one since I believe 81, I think, in 1981. So they're the Montreal Expos. So they've only won. It just shows how anemic they've been in their history. They've only won 2 playoff series. So it isn't like they've been around since like '69, I believe. It's not like they've been around since the 1920s. So I'm not gonna say anymore, but yeah. So it's just they won their second. I think the chemistry's different than it was a couple years ago for the Nats. Like that's the thing. I think you could say, well, they're cursed. I don't believe any of that crap. Like I really don't. I think I think a lot of it's just luck. I really do. I don't think it's curse. I don't believe any of that. I mean, that's ridiculous. So yeah, they have a lot of young play. I mean, you look at the last team. They had like guys like Harper, Murphy, Danny Murphy. Trying to think. He had obviously at one time he had Ian Desmond in there. You had guys like Denard Span, Jason Worth. You had guys like different guys in there, and guys like what was that catching? Wilson Ramos, and even Matt Wieters in there too. So yeah, I mean like it's like it was a different atmosphere 2 years ago, completely different atmosphere. Really 3 years ago, completely different atmosphere 3 years ago than it is now. Because you guys like Soto, Robles, and obviously you had Rendon back then, but guys like Soto, Robles, now Harapara. Harapara isn't like amazing at production at the plate. He's just such a great leader behind the curtains in the clubhouse. So that's why he has such a big impact. So I think a new manager like Dave Martinez, who knows how to win a World Series with Joe Madden in 2016, as the bench coach, spent so many years with Joe Madden, who's very, very successful. He obviously was the bench coach with Tampa Bay for a while. From I know he followed Joe Madden when Madden left the race. He went with the Cubs. So I really have been a big fan of Martinez. As much as I despise the Nationals, I think Martinez is probably my favorite manager in the MLB. Believe it or not, it's just a shame. I guess I can't root for Martinez, unfortunately, because he's a National. But I tell you what, if he was not a National, I'd be his biggest fan. But I just can't really root for him because he's a Nat. So, he's a great manager, and I wish that the Phillies would hire someone like him because he's so great. And I think you guys can understand. Any National fans who are watching this video, it's hard. It's hard for me, because my team was supposed to be so good, and it's just like I'm still just gonna have a hangover. I'm just so disappointed that I've seen all these other teams do well, and it's terrible. It sucks to watch. I'm just gonna say it sucks to watch. It really does. It really, really hurts, especially when you have the gratitude of stealing a star from your rival, and then they don't need him because they move on to the NLCS. It just as a Phillies fan, it just really just stings. It really does. But I'm trying my best to be objective as I can. And props to the Nats. I mean, they did it without Harper. I mean, it's not easy to do, and they don't need him. I said that a couple of days ago. They don't need him. They have guys like Robles now. They got guys like Soto. Rendon has always been good, but he's really had a breakout year. You got guys like that. You obviously got the pitching is very good, and it's anybody's series in the St. Louis series. I know last night I said St. Louis is going to win, but I don't know. I don't know. I think I can maybe see the Nats winning that. Be honest with you. And I tell you why. I think the Nats have better pitching. I think the Nats will go to the World Series. Well, my honest opinion. I don't think the Cardinals will be able to take the Nats down. I could be wrong, but I see the Nats going on to the World Series. I think it's going to be Nats, Astros World Series, but I do not believe the Nats will win the World Series, so I will tell you that. And I'd be honest with you. If it was going to be a Rays Nationals, I'd say the Nationals will probably win the World Series, but it's going to be either Yankees or Nats or Astros or Nats. And either way, the Nats would lose because the Yankees are better than them and the Astros are better than them. But the Cardinals, I don't think they're better than the Nats. I really don't. I mean, you have Juan Soto for the Nats, but if you look over at Anthony Rendon and Trey Turner, and he could run, and you got some power there as well. Some players I have on that team, but you look over at the Cardinals side, I don't I mean, you got guys like Marcell Ozuna, you got guys like Paul Goldschmidt. You got some good hitters over there, but their pitching, this isn't up to par with the Nats. The Nats have the big three horses. Scherzer, Corbin, and Strauss, and even Anibal Sanchez. He hasn't been bad. So, yeah, guys, I see the Nationals moving on to the World Series. I think it will happen. As much as it is hard for me to say it, I have to be objective, and I do think it will happen. So, and even if the Nats are not going to win the World Series, this season has been a total success for them. And I definitely think that Martinez has done a fantastic job. As much as it hurts for me to see the Nationals succeed, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt as much knowing that I'm a big Martinez fan and the fact that he does well. So that makes it a little less painful. So yeah, Martinez is definitely coming back next year, despite what happens in this NLCS. He's definitely coming back. The first manager in Nats history in Washington Nationals history who won a playoff series. Dusty Baker couldn't do it. Matt Williams couldn't do it. Davey Johnson couldn't do it. So, yeah, guys, none of these managers they had in the past history could do it. And Martinez did it. And I just can't believe it. Before I go, but what a turnaround for the Dave Martinez. Like, he was on the verge of getting fired. And he comes all the way back. Think about it. He's on the verge last year at 82 and 80 season. And then this year, you're 11 games under 500 in May. You know what? You fight all the way back. He was on the verge of getting fired. He hit rock bottom. He really did. He hit rock bottom. And I talk about this all the time. It doesn't just happen. You don't just come out of that like, we came out of the 11 games under 500. Here we are in the wild card. No. It takes a leader. It takes someone to step up. It takes multiple people to step up. And I think Martinez says we have to change something. And I think Rizzo, even did it too. So yeah, guys, as I said, the chemistry is a lot different than it was. But what a turnaround for Davey Martinez. I mean, he was going to get fired. Like, people were saying he's the worst manager in Nats history. I think he could be one of the best managers in Nats history now. How amazing is that? I think he adjusted himself. I think he made some better decisions with the bullpen. And people are saying bring Dusty Baker back. Well, I really like Dusty Baker, but Martinez, you could say he's on his resume. He won a playoff series. So, I mean, I think Dusty Baker's a great manager. I think, Davey Johnson's a pretty good manager. He was a pretty good manager. He wasn't great. He wasn't terrible. But Davey Martinez is a great manager. I really, really like his atmosphere. He just seems like a fun guy to be around. He just has that vibe. That good vibe when you get around him. I never met him, but he just seems like that kind of guy. Dusty Baker, obviously, he was very well liked, and I'm hoping that my Phillies can maybe – I understand he's getting older, but I don't know if he'd want to manage, but I definitely think the Phillies should give him a call because I know that Bryce Harper really is a fan of him. So, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. As the Dodgers, disappointing. They're going to bring back Dave Roberts, yet wasted all that talent. Cody Bellinger, MVP season. Absolutely disgraceful. I'm just going to touch on this. Absolutely disgraceful. Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw. He is so terrible in the postseason. He's been terrible his whole entire career in the postseason. Absolutely terrible. Gives up a home run to Anthony Rendon. Back-to-back home runs to Anthony Rendon and Juan Soto. And then you got Howie Kendrick hitting that walk-off grand slam. And that game-winning grand slam, that gave the Nats that lead, that 7-3 lead, and that was it. They all knew it, and you should have seen the pictures of the Dodgers players. They were just dumbfounded. So what a wasted season from the Dodgers. Just absolutely terrible. Yet again, year after year after year, a disappointment after disappointment after disappointment for the Dodgers. As yet again, they choke in the postseason. So can't choke in the World Series if you choke in the NLDS, as that meme said. So very, very true. And Clayton Kershaw, not in the postseason. So Dodgers, just disappointing. Really, it's just so disappointing for the Dodgers. I mean, waste of talent. How do you know that Cody Bellinger is going to come back next year and have the year he had this year? So, and he didn't do jack crap in the postseason. So disappointing for the Dodgers, but great for the Nats. I see the Nats advancing to the World Series. They're beating the Cardinals. I see the Astros advancing. It's going to be Nationals, Astros, World Series. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please smash the like on this video. Please tell all your friends about these videos. Please subscribe if you have not yet. Please turn on the notification bell, and I will see you next time.